Hey party people, welcome back to MVM, and today I'm here with a preview for Valheim. Now, Valheim is the second title by Mood Publishing. Mood Publishing, small unit, they came out of nowhere with this game called Deep Rock Galactic, which is an IP from like a PlayStation game. And it ended up being very good, like dice chuck in heaven, a lot of strategy, a lot of just, oh my God, but I'm chucking dice and fighting my way out of it. Fun game. Big game, big production. And this year, they're coming back. And by the way, their expansion just delivered. And they have this one, Valheim, a Viking themed game, where you are fighting against the Forsaken. You're taking them out. And what you're doing is fighting over different landscapes, going around these landscapes, trying to find enemies, preparing for all these little small missions to get yourself ready to fight this Forsaken, and you make whatever sacrifice or put the 2 and 2 together in order to make and prepare a ritual in order to fight them. And then you're literally going to fight them on their own tile. Big boss battle. This is an interesting game simply because it has a specific setup per game, but you're going to be flipping landscape tiles and finding out what's under them, kind of like a fog of war walking thing. I want to show you that today. And then you also have like a crafting system where you kind of make up your own home, which is really interesting too. So we're going to explore all that stuff, show you what Valheim has to offer, and hopefully you can make a really good informed backing decision. Let's go ahead and dig in. So this is our landscape. We are in the foresty area here, and we have our darker forest, and then we have our land here. You're also looking at who we're going to be facing at the end. This is the Elder. The Elder has these interesting conditions. They all have their own deck. Each boss has their own deck. So if I was fighting against the Spirit of the Forest Antler guy, I would have my own deck. And all those events do is tell you what's going on in here when we eventually get to them. Each area also has its own type of enemy, so you'll have cards for that. And there are different landscapes. There are frozen ones which have conditions on it that you will freeze, and they'll also have spots for resources and enemies. You also have swamps, and swamps are part of this too. So you're going to have hard movement and possible other things that happen here. But ultimately what we're going to be doing is unveiling these things, trying to find enough resources, take them back to our home. What happens in our home? We can do different things here, craft different stuff, eat, all those types of things. I'm going to cover all of that. And then we have we are going to have our final fight with our boss if we complete specific conditions. So in this case, we have to kill some specific enemies, and then we have to destroy their area by creating a fire weapon and destroying it. Then we can go to an altar and then fight the boss. So there's like a kind of a set of things that I need to do, which means I need to prepare, I need to go about adventure and prepare. I need to make money, I need to build resources, I need to make specific things so that I can make other things, and I may have to go back and get those resources, and then I will fight the boss. So you should be pretty powered up. You should have some things that you have achieved and feel set going in. But there are going to be events that happen through this deck. There's going to be, you might just die. You may get your house raided. You can get your house raided. I've seen that happen, okay? So just give you an idea of what's going on. So let's go ahead and dig into our characters. So our characters don't start out like this. I've kind of added some extra things here. They're kind of a little bit closer to blank slates, and this is how you fill in the slates, the blank slates. You have your different skills. So for example, this is a small skill and this is a large skill. And what that means is if you complete the top part, the bottom part is the benefit that you will have. So for example, this is win outnumber combat, and I figured I wanted to do that because I wanted to be like rangery, kind of like wily in combat. And it says if I do that at least once, and it says no disadvantage from being outnumbered, because when you're outnumbered, you actually get a little extra damage put on you. This one here, the larger one, I have to have three of the white pieces in there. When I do, I have to defeat an enemy from range, and when I do that, I get +1 to my range attack. The Viking guy over here, he has to block at least two damage, and then he would gain 1 extra shield. This one is use a sword to defeat a monster. If I do that 3 times, I get a +1 to my sword. So that's pretty much how those work. Then you get what's called 1 Odin skill, and there are a bunch of these, but they're simply, they use your stamina in order to use them. You flip them over, and that's how they're used. And then the boss, that's kind of restricted. So this one here is +1 action. This one here is ignore damage when a root when taking damage, so he kind of can like run through the roots and whatnot. A whole bunch of resources over here. We'll talk about the weapons, cooking, but let's just dig into how the turn works. Now, I've already given myself some things. I've also turned over some of these tiles because I want to give you an idea of what's going on. Well, let's just talk about the simple things that you can do in this game. Simple thing is unveiling the world that you're in. So let's go ahead and take our Archer Ranger and then move out here. And just kind of, we'll start with the move action here. So we move, when we move, we unlock or show some things. So I can move 2. I actually have some boots on where I can move further. But before I move in, should have done that, I see this icon here. This icon tells me, and I'm just going to lay him down like that, that this enemy has showed up. And this stone looks interesting because that might be something that I need to do. And this spring right here is going to give me +1 to my health if I needed some health. But I need to step in here because I decided to move. And what I'm going to do is since I'm at range, this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to take this guy out. And let's see what I can do with the combat. So I have a pretty powered up weapon. Trust me, this weapon here, a lot later in the game, okay? A lot later in the game. But I have my 3 dice here, and I'm just going to roll those. Okay, and he's got his 1. I even have my defensive die that I need to roll. So then I get all those hits. He rolls his. He has no defense at all. No defense at all. I go ahead and bash him. But the key here is, let's say I didn't kill him and it was earlier in the game. If I missed or I hit him and he survived, he would move into there with me and then we would have combat. But typically combat is going to be you rolling your dice, which are a combination of yellow, lower level, red, more powerful, and then your weapon, then your blocking dice, which you can only have 2. But there are other ways to even upgrade that as you upgrade weapons because they're better at doing certain things and give you specific bonuses. Also, one thing I also can do is, and let's just say I moved again, I'm looking for something, folks. I'm looking for something. There we go. I'm moving again. All right. So I'm here. Okay. So I'm going to move here and I have this guy here, and then we have, oh, it looks like this is one of the things we need for our ritual. So they're not going to chase after me though. What they do in this game versus normal type of games where you're used to enemies kind of like just chasing after you on your turn, what they do is instead, and I'm just laying these down just so you can see. What they do instead is the cards, this system kind of lets them move, but if you attack them or you move into the space, you're automatically fighting them. So in the beginning of the game, you're going to have scenarios where they have these pieces, resources on here, and what will happen is they're part of the timer for the game. So if these cards run out, that's the end of the game. If you haven't triggered the boss battle and fought them, then you lose the game. But every time those are on there, and that depends on player count, we would take 1 off when we're done with our turn. 3 actions, take 1 of these off, or take a card in that order. So now we take the turn with the big guy Viking here. I am just going to go get some resources. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to go, I'm not going to help them out over there. Actually, I'm a little greedy. I'm going to go over here by myself, and that would be my first action. And then I'm going to gather some wood. So I'm going to roll the die for the wood, and then I will get 1 wood. So I'll grab the 1 wood. All right, I got 1 wood. Okay. Now, I also want to go in and fight this guy. So I'm going to go 1 over, and then I will fight him. So I'll roll my crazy yellow die. I got 1 yellow die, and I got a whole bunch of, apparently a whole bunch of armor. Okay, so I have that. They roll theirs. They're going to hit for 2. I only have 1 defense. but I am going to hit them first, so I will take a damage. And this is the pretty simpleness of the combat. You do have re-roll tokens as well, so you can use those as well. But if I was, let's say, this flint knife, and let's say I was down here because I have the bear, I have the fur down here, I can actually use this flint knife to get more resources from it. And there's even weapons that do that kind of stuff, better resources that help you with specific actions when you're at home. And then we'll get into the crafting a little bit later. Now, there is this guy out here, which I'm trying to find specifically. I actually surprised myself in here. I was hoping I'd just unveil him, but this is actually interesting that I've unveiled this. But yeah, that's kind of what this stuff is over here. But let's say he takes his turn, we take this piece off, and then we go again. All right, so now I'm over here. Maybe I want to go over here and mine. So then I'm going to go ahead and shoot over here at this skeleton. And all these cards do is tell you what dice they chuck. Some of them will have even extra icons that tell you. Looks like this guy chucks 2 dice. I have 2 red and 1 yellow, and then I have 1 blue die. That's what I'm rolling right there. Boom, I have 3 attack and 1. They have 2 attack. So I do that, I take 1 damage. All right, I take 1 damage, and then I apply 3. 1, 2, gone. And if there was a resource on there, I would get it. But I'm trying to get rid of them because, and as I'm doing that, I'm just gonna steal this from these guys. I killed that guy last time with one of these. I add this to here, and when I get that third one, I get +1 damage to my thing there. So just think about the addition of those, kind of unlocking your character, unlocking your abilities. And then I'm gonna just jump in here, and I'm gonna mine this resource right here. Hopefully I get something good. Hopefully I get something good. I just get 1. Okay, so then I get 1 of these bronze things here, and I'll put it there. Now, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit and just say, hey, I got a whole bunch of resources. I've been carrying them for a while. I got all this stuff here. I've been preparing and wheeling and dealing and stuff like that. I'm going to show you one thing that is probably not on this. Let me see if it's on this tile. This is an altar. This altar here is where I'll finally, once I prepare these rituals and destroy these with my fire weapon, I'm going to eventually find the other one here. So this is the other one. So this would unveil. But I have this guy out here. It's like a market guy. I think it's Haldor or whatever. And you pay to look at his special stuff. So he's got the special chosen, special chosen stuff from the gods that give you way better abilities and cool stuff for this level that we have here. So you have that. But ultimately what you also want to do is try to take all your resources back. So then you get to the house. When you get back to the house, there's a whole nother element of building in this game. And as you can see, I'm really grinning because I just like to build stuff. I like Stardew Valley. I like Animal Crossing. And this game has an element to it where it's like you're taking these resources and you're straight up building a house. Maybe you want a bed to rest in, so you pay the resources that will make you a bed, a fur and wood, and you can make a bed. Okay, and the bed will help you get health. You can build a table. You can build a table just to eat food on, so that when you cook, you don't get one thing, but you also get 2 things, okay? So you can look at those and figure out what you want. And speaking of cooking, if you cook, you get the rewards up here, so I can eat 2 food, or I can get a reroll token of food and a stamina. But if I have a cauldron, if I spend the money and get a cauldron in front of my house, guess what happens? Now I can eat the better benefits at the bottom. So I have a choice of the better benefits at the bottom. Really interesting little thing there. I have all kinds of different stuff. I can make mead, which helps me with my stamina. I can put a rug down, which helps me with my stamina. I can put a throne down that gives me rerolls. I can make bombs if I want to. I can even make boats so that when I'm out on the boat, I can sail myself and someone else to come out there. And there's a lot of like joining effects in this game. Like let's say I was next to this one and I fought them in here. I could use the stamina and they would come in there with me. So I'm now outnumbered things like that. There's a lot of little strategies that are in there. I'm kind of glossing over all of it, but I don't want to. I just want to make sure you have an idea how this works. And then let's say I wanted to craft something in here. Well, I can craft these different weapons and the shields, the weapons and armor. What they're going to do is I just trade in those resources. And if I wanted to, if I had something I wanted to get rid of, I just get rid of it and I get a resource, one of the resources. But as you can see, they do upgrade the abilities of dice. Like this one is, you roll 2 dice, but you get a +1 to your to the effect. So you have all these different ones here. Sometimes you have to spend stamina in order to chuck 2 dice, that kind of stuff that are in here. Okay, and then you have your weapons. So your weapons are going to be pretty cool. Like these beginning ones right here will help you with forging things. This one gives you more stuff from your lumber. This one helps you cook and you get more stuff. And then you just got better weapons. Just better weapons as a whole. And that's what's going on at home. But that's like a whole different game. And then you start, at some point when there's no resources on here, you start pulling these cards. And there are actually quiet cards. There are cards that add enemies out of nowhere. There's things that give you benefits, and then you got to roll. You got to roll to see if anything else happens. You don't want to roll that. You do not want to roll that, because usually that's the worst thing. It's usually the worst thing. So let's say this one says all enemies adjacent to players move into those spaces. So they maybe they just move over to us, and then we have to start fighting them. If you currently have lumber or wood in your inventory or storage, place a skeleton on your space as it ambushes you. And then they get a little bit more rough as you get to the bottom here, and then even the big guy can show up. And when the big guy shows up, there's like a raid that happens. They kind of all corral, and when they all corral, they will go and raid your place, and you have to fight. If you're not there, then they start taking out stuff. Okay, so you do not want that. So all this interesting stuff happens, and let's say I kill these guys, create my little fire sword, and then I take that out. Do this. Create my little fire sword that I do because I have this table right here, and I lace this with fire. So now I have my fire on my, now my new sword. Let me get myself a sword. So now I'll give myself a silver sword. Let's do that. I'm gonna have a silver sword. Ooh, I got a nice sword, man. That's some nice dice. Okay. All right. So now I've done that, and now we've gone to the altar, right? We get to the altar, and this all goes away. All goes away. And I'm just going to do this while we're here instead of cutting it. We're just going to do this just to show you what goes on here. And then boom, we take this piece off. And now we have turned this game pretty much into a boss battler. I'm going to put this on here like this just so you can see what's going on here. Now, every boss in the game has, and I can put this on here, this guy will be standing out here like this. Every boss in the game has its own deck of cards. They had this post when they sent the prototype, so bear with me here on this one here, but those would be the deck here. Then we have our dice. They have 3 dice. They have 3 dice, and this will drive the AI. And what we're looking to not have is be in the wrong spots. So in the on these tiles, and each one of these tiles for the bosses will have different spots on here. Like there may be roots on here, so you can't move fast. +1, -1 of these. There will be, for example, there might be acid or something you can't walk on. This one right here, you're going to have slow movement. They may have range spots on here to show you, hey, this is an attack from range, or it's going to cost you stamina to jump in. This may have frozen spots, or it'll show you because this is where you fight this guy. I wish I didn't get a chance to fight this guy, but I would love to play that mission out. This one you get a chance to fight. Oh, I might as well just show you these. You get the chance to fight this guy. And then you got to fight, of course, the ugliest thing in the dang on game right now. This guy right here, okay? So here we are fighting the boss. Positioning matters because specifically for this guy, you want to be behind him, okay? So what's going to happen is you're going to roll your dice. You're going to be able to move around. You can throw a bomb. You can toss a bomb at him to cause damage. But pretty much easy stuff. You're moving around to make sure you're not in the right position, because you don't want to be in front of them because they do more damage to you, and we'll show you how that works. So for example, let's say I was the archer. I'm behind them, so I get a little bit more extra damage. I'm just going to, simulate a little bit of this here like this. I get 1 blue die. Okay, cool. So I have 1 defense and 2 hits. They roll theirs. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But they get to turn like that. It says turn 1 space towards the active player, shortest way possible, and if the distance is the same, the active player decides. Then they have this attack here, so they're going to attack me. It says 3 damage to the active player directly in front of the adjacent player. So 3 damage to me, and that would be 1, 2. So then that would happen there. But let's say that this was an exclamation point. Then we flip the card over, and the card says place vine tokens on 3 of the spaces in front of the elder. All right, so then you put those there, okay, like that, and then it says entering the space of vines ends your movement, action, and drains 1 stamina. Vine tokens are removed when you enter the space. So you have these abilities that they're going to place out. Of course, this is a boss. You're going to have boss-like stuff. But I'm still going to take them out. 1, 2. All right, so I still have the 2 there. And I just basically have to get to the end here. But you're going to be going back and forth here. So I got my awesome guy over here. Let's go ahead and do this right here. Let's do this. I got some dice chucking it, baby. Here we go. I got all the stuff here for me. All right, so, and of course, all I got was 3 hits out of that. All right, so we got that. They roll theirs. Okay, so they have 4 hits, but I have an extra shield, so I have 4 to 4, and then I have my 3 here. So they're gonna hit for a lot because they have all these double dice, but we're not gonna resolve all that. But we're gonna go ahead and give them some hits. So of course we're hitting them, we're matching these up, we're dodging them. This is a very easy game to get into, but as you can see, the different elements create a different type of adventure and more of like very much a video game like structure. So that's why I brought this game to you today. Hopefully it gives you an idea of how it plays. I think Valheim is going to give you that video game feel. It's going to give you a boss battler feel, and it's going to give you like that it's just a resource management part. The element that I thought was really attractive about this game is that cooking and building, and I would like to see where that goes as the prototype, or maybe as the campaign develops and they talk more about that portion of the game. That's the basics of Valheim. Hopefully this gives you a good informative idea how this game works. I can't tell you what to do with your money, but if you've seen Mood Publishing and you've played Deep Rock Galactic, if you're feeling something like that, this is a little bit more of a honed in adventure versus like Dungeon Crawl, Destroy, let's get out of here, oh my God. This is more of a true adventure experience, scenario experience. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. Hey, feel free to like, subscribe, and take care. And thank you for your time, party people. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on MVM.